curve. We both end up with about the same amount of food, so that's a local average. So if all the insects are running around sharing food with their neighbors, we all end up with about the same amount of food. So if I am hungry, I can make the assumption that the whole rest of my 10,000 sisters must also be hungry too. That I can go out and get some food and know that I'm doing the right thing. So I can make a local decision based on global information. So the bees like it. And it doesn't quite work like this with the bees, but it's close enough. And it gives an example of how this can be used in the real system. All right, here it is. I'm running on the robots, and that's that. So that's what I do. That's kind of the core of what I do. Let's spend the next few minutes talking a little bit about where I came from. Here's one of my favorite pictures. There are, in this picture, we have one engineer, 2 robots, and 2 actors. The robots are down there on the lower right. See them down there. And this is not some old birthday party R2-D2 thing. That's Anthony Daniels actually in the costume, and he's fantastic. Like, he walks around like a normal guy. And then the thing goes on. This is C3PO. I'm just like, wow, you're C3PO for real. It's great stuff. So where does this picture come from? In order to understand this picture, we have to go back in time. Freshman year. Whoa, too far back. There we go. All right. So like every good engineer, I was hatched in a cardboard box, which is convenient because cardboard boxes are really good things to learn engineering from. You can build houses out of them. You can build forts. You can build them around. I had this little tank and a little trip with the thing to shoot things out of. My parents were great. I later graduated to model trains. Actually, more accurately, my dad graduated to model trains because I was 4. I don't remember them. He had a great time though. But model trains, again, fantastic hands-on practice. Lots of skills to learn to get these things to run and to look nice and to work well together. Lego, of course, is the acme of all engineering prototyping kits. I have a big, giant box of Lego. I still do. Video games, back when I was your age, or the age of, there's definitely 2 different groups of people here, the age of the younger group. Video games are not the multi-million-dollar StarCraft 2 Grand Theft Auto affairs they are today. They were simple things you could actually sit down and program. I learned a lot of good software from video games. The sorts of games that you have on your cell phones now, the simple ones, or the sorts of things that are really, really good software engineering to make those go. So I'm a big fan of people programming video games. I went on to more sophisticated mechanical systems. Here I am trying to get to the top of my friend's garage. I didn't quite make it. I spent most of my high school mechanical career trying to figure out a good way to get 2 speeds on a BMX bicycle. And BMX bikes take a lot of abuse, and it was a tricky problem to solve. And when things didn't work, I welded stuff on, it didn't weld it right, it broke off, and the emergency room. So it turns out you learn a lot of good engineering in the emergency room. You learn about welds, fatigue, and mill strength, and lots of things that you didn't know before that. So really good engineering to get these bikes to work. Finally, radio control cars. And I'm not talking about the kind of Radio Shack stuff. I'm talking about the hobby store cars, the ones that will break your ankle if they hit you. You see this 60 mile an hour kind of cars. So in order to make these things go and to drive and be controllable at these speeds, you have to really understand the engineering, the power, the suspension, the tire, the grip handling. There's all these things that have to work to make the car work at these extreme speeds. Serious engineering. So you take all this engineering and you put it together in the head of a high school student, and you end up with Rover. And this is primitive by today's standards, but back in 1988, it was actually kind of cool. And the goal for Rover was to run around with this water gun right here and squirt my parents in the ankles. and as long as they weren't moving, it worked pretty well. I then went on to get interested in biology and ants. Here's my ant condo. Again, a close-up of my ants. We have a worker here and some larvae and some pupae. So good stuff. I then went and built the ant robots. So the goal for these robots was to try to build a robot system that could do ant-like behaviors. Turns out that was really, really hard. Way too hard for me to do as an undergraduate. But the robots were really cool, and the project that I did for my thesis was really impressive, so they let me graduate anyway. Here's my thesis right here. And I love this picture because I didn't have time to get the camera level, but the president and the provost both had enough time to strike a pose. So, professionals. And then the photographer taking a picture of me, taking a picture of them. And then went on to work on iRobot. Here I am getting everyone psyched up about 100 robots. I got an email a few hours later saying that one of my robots had escaped. There were only 99 robots in this picture. And first of all, I was irritated because I paid for 100 nuts. Second of all, I was deeply disturbed that somebody had enough free time to sit there and count the robots in the picture. All right. So, turn this off for a second. Can you guys hear me in the back? Yes. So then I went on. I have it on. Oh, you turn it back. Is it left cut? All right. So we're back on. There we go. So then I went on to iRobot. We built this form, which is what you see before you. And the goal for this form was to do multi-raw systems right, to really figure out how do you build a system that you can work with day in and day out and not lose your mind with having to touch robots and program them. So we had to solve wildlife programming, self-charging, rigid mechanical structure, easy manufacture. There's a bunch of technical things we had to figure out on a research project. And it was good that I was at iRobot doing this because I was surrounded by the world's best robot engineers. So we can get these things done in a year or so of effort. So fantastic. So when you have really cool robots, it turns out people notice. Here's an exhibit at the Smithsonian. They were looking for playful inventors. When they asked me to be in their exhibit, I said, sure, you can put me in your exhibit. But they didn't tell me they were going to have posters all over DC. So I got there to go see this thing. I walked off the train. I walked to do a picture of myself, which is kind of a surreal experience. I didn't know what to do, so I took a picture of myself next to the picture of myself. Which, of course, is the picture I'm showing you now. So when you have cool robots, third graders notice. Here's a third grade science project on the robot ants. The author is down there at the bottom. When you've got cool robots, fourth graders notice. Here's a quilt that at my stepmother's school, I gave a presentation. They made me a quilt, which I adore. It's also useful when I was finishing my thesis. When you've got cool robots, third graders notice, fourth graders notice. They tell Time magazine when they want to have somebody in the magazine about the leading advisors. They ask me to pose as a swarm keeper. So here I am in a beekeeper's outfit with the robots on the front yard of our robot. Cute little picture. And then Science of Star Wars must have read Time magazine and talked to third and fourth graders. So they asked them to come out and film with R2-D2 and C-3PO on their Science of Star Wars TV show. They were talking about the science reality that was depicted in the Star Wars movies. Here I am in California with a whole bunch of robots and the camera. Had a whole crazy setup to build the robots running around this maze. Built a whole lot of work. It was very, very nice. And here is the shot where I had a robot at the feet of 3PO and R2-D2, and C-3PO says, go out and explore, and the robots disperse in a nice starburst pattern. They cluster as they're moving. It looks gorgeous on the camera. It was about 4 days of solid programming to get it to do that. And so then they filmed it, and they were like, okay, great, let's do something else with the robots. That was 4 days, there's nothing else. But I did have the Star Wars theme song on them, and I played that for them. They actually filmed that, and they used that in the ending credits of the show, which really made me quite pleased. So that's how I got that picture. I ended up with this picture right here, and then I got Anthony Daniels to sign my robot number 30, which had the Christian C-3PO. And retired that to the shelf. So that's my story. And along the way, essentially, I've been building better toys. I've been having a lot of fun. I've been doing the things that I like to do. And my life has led me down a path that really has been very fun. So the key thing I want to leave you all with today is the pithy quote, which is, a master in art of living draws no sharp distinction between work and play. I want to encourage you all to play hard. Thank you very much.
Please proceed over to the Duffy Center for Engineering in the lobby area. You will meet there and get ready. Any college exhibitors, anybody in the student research competition, please go straight over to Duffy for judging. Everyone else, we will be organizing tours to the other side of campus outside of this building. So outside of this building, if you'd like a tour,